This episode of Inside the Lab is brought to you by the Athlete Development Lab. The Athlete Development Lab is a Slack community designed for sports professionals across pro sports, collegiate athletics, tech, looking to collaborate, network, and grow. The lab is meant to bridge ideas into practice and create the space for collaboration across the industry. Feel free to invite colleagues and others to join the conversation. Our membership includes 400 plus sports business professionals across 10 different sports leagues and 3 different continents. Now, you may ask, who can benefit from the lab? Well, if you're looking to break into sports, this community is built for sports professionals by sports professionals. If you're looking to break into the sports community, this community is for you. Founded by myself and my co-founder, Jared Barnes, our entire intent of creating this community is to build intentional connections and inclusive community. On the Inside the Lab podcast, we interview advisors, investors, sports tech founders, and sports business leaders to impact their journeys and paths to success. Our purpose is to pull out the life lessons and habits and thought patterns of these individuals and share those with others who can use them in their lives and incorporate them into professional journey. Our goal is to entertain, delight, and inspire our audience into action with real talk and practical advice. In addition, we'll cover topics relevant in sports business specific to your industry. Today is Friday, April 23rd, and it's 8 p.m. We had to switch it up from my apartment in Los Angeles. Grateful for that experience, but I think I'm really excited. We're coming to you today from PeerSpace in Irving Park, Chicago, Illinois, and I'm really happy we did. Majority of our content has been recorded virtually, and we're still being very cautious and safe as we continue to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic, but I would be lying if I didn't get chills for this interview. We're going to hear from Kerry Neal. Kerry attended the University of Notre Dame, and I'll let him introduce himself here shortly, but I wouldn't do any justice if I didn't set up an epic intro. And with that, sports has a unique ability to bring people together, whether it's the athletes in the locker room celebrating a hard-fought win, the fans at the game that console one another after a tough loss, or the individual that never misses the game on the TV. Sports has that type of impact where you remember the people that you were with, who they were, and what the outcome of the game was. And on a deeper level, I think it's really important to point out the types of programs that are participating in these events. And, for me, the University of Notre Dame certainly is one of those elite programs. And we have none other than Kerry Neal. Kerry, thank you for being on the show today. Happy to have you.
No, man, thank you. I'm honored to be on, man.
No doubt. And, before we jump into the meat of the conversation, Kerry, I would love for you to take us back to, it's Bunn?
Yep.
Bunn, North Carolina, and tell us a little bit about that. I'll leave with that question.
Bunn, North Carolina, man, where do I start? Small hometown. Literally, I think my graduating class was probably like, I want to say 85, 86 people or something like that. Got one stoplight, a prison. I was telling the guys earlier, it's literally like a prison, a cornfield, my high school football. So, I mean, your options right there. Everything is laid out in front of you right there. So, very small, families, everything back home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's really it, man. Literally one stoplight and that's it. You through the town that fast. You blink, you're past it.
Man, and football, right?
Yeah, football is big. Basketball big. We're really a sports team. Football and basketball is our major 2 sports.
Okay.
We had some ballers that come out of there. Tyreek Cohen for the Bears. Myself. We had a lot of guys who went D1. Jonathan Austin, Jay Austin. He was with Miami for a little while. Played at NC State. It's a long list of guys, man. So,
I love it. And I think it's cool to point out, as competitive athletes, and you notice that there's a lot of other talent around you that's growing up, and you see where guys end up. So I appreciate you shedding a little light on that. And you attended the University of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I read in an article that was the school that you knew that you were going to go to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there was no other options that you were considering?
I mean, it was a lot of options, man. I tell everybody I thought about decommitting to Notre Dame to go to Alabama.
Wow.
I talked to Coach Weiss, man, Coach, I'm thinking about taking this visit. He talked me out of it. My mom and my coach, she was like, man, you kind of gave him your word, and again, I'm a man of my word, and I stuck it out, and I mean, it was the best decision I made, man. Really, going through that process, really didn't know what the questions to ask. I just knew growing up I was always a big Notre Dame fan. Like every Saturday morning, we had a little. My mom, my grandma used to go to the grocery store. When we come back home, guess what was on TV? Notre Dame, Channel 17, NBC. And I told my grandma, like, if they offer me, I'm going. Yeah. Just like young kid just talking. And sure enough, my junior year, man, like they offered me, and I committed on the spot the same day.
No questions asked.
Not even no visit, nothing. Like, hey, I'm going.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
And
again, it was just like, I mean, everything I imagined, it kind of really happened for me.
Okay.
I mean, Notre Dame was one of the best things for me, just being a kid, just stuck in that small town rut. Like, the stuff that I was able to experience, able to travel, just people that I was able to meet, to be in this position, right? I feel like everything happened for a reason, right? Just introducing me to Chicago.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Notre Dame and Chicago network and alumni network is so big and so strong, so... yeah, man, Notre Dame, that's it, man. Go Irish.
I love it. Go Irish. And I want to take a step back before we talk into your experience about at Notre Dame. And you talked a little bit that football, being from North Carolina, small town. What is that recruitment process like to, I think kids, you could be very talented. You can have all the ability in the world. But I think there's a fine line between what we talked about in the pre-chat. You got Notre Dame, you got Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, and excuse me for missing the fifth school. But what does it take to get to that type of level?
Recruiting has changed a lot since from now to then. I mean, when I was coming out, it was just like you got to think about the cell phones, right? It was like I remember having cell phone bills like $600 just because like. The roaming charge is like, I'm from North Carolina, so like you got to think about cell towers not the best. Like coaches calling you all times of the night, and they kind of put a heavy restrictions on that. Okay. Just like coaches just popping up at the school, or you were in class, your coach may come get you out of class, like, hey, you got so and so here to see you, or you in the weight room and you may have about 5 different like. Power 5 coaches just come in just to see you work out. Like, you know what I mean? Just sit like as a little now, like older now, just kind of sit back and like just reflect on all of that. You were like, wow, like it was really like teams really wanted me at that time. Like being like a young kid, like, and I used to be super shy, like didn't want to talk about it. I would never wear my Notre Dame hoodie to school because I didn't really like the attention. I just wanted to be a part of the team. Like, you know what I mean? About my business, and I was going to let my play speak for me. But the recruiting process was great, though. I mean, just going on the visits. Just, you know what I mean? Going to see different stuff. Again, being from a small, I didn't get out. We didn't get out of Bun that often. So anytime I got a chance to do it, I'm all for it.
I believe it.
But it was great, man. Just talking, and again, coaches telling you everything you want to hear. Tell you how good you were. Right.
Then you get on campus.
Yeah, exactly. You're 16, 17 years old. These coaches telling you all this stuff is just blowing your head out. Then just the TV time, then just the national. There's just a natural coverage that you get on an everyday basis. Like, you know what I mean? It was old school. You got to think about it. It was like rival sport. It wasn't like we had Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. So you can't just upload your video. We had to literally go back. Old school, you had to have 2 tapes. You had to have the game tape and the blank tape. You had to put it in the dual cassette thing, the dual VCR. You had to this is how I had to make my videos. Now it's easy. You just go to Huddle, play the games, and just click and drive, right? Click it, cut and paste. We had to go in, watch the tape, hit record. You had to go rewind, hit record, play, hit record, cut it, then copy that on the DVD. Then you had to go do that for the 12-game season. It takes you about a month just to make the tape itself.
You need a manager for that.
Then you got to go. Then you got to mail it. Then you got to make a copy. Then you got to burn that and make how many copies you want to make. You want to make 12 copies. This is before DVD. DVD got a little easier, right? So we had to do all that. Then we had to mail it across the country to all these different teams. So it was a process, man, but it was worth it though, for sure.
A lot different, like you said, than taking a video on your iPhone and sending an email.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's there.
You can send a text link now. You know what I mean?
And you're good.
You're good.
You talked to us a little bit about where you're from, a little bit about your experience at Notre Dame, but let's dive a little bit deeper into that now. So your freshman year, I played baseball.
Yep.
And the speed of the game was vastly, significantly faster my freshman year of college than my senior year of high school. But there is no physical element to the game of baseball. I mean, they might get some bang contests, but not like football.
Yeah.
And you were playing.
Yeah.
You were out there.
17, 18-year-old
What
freshman.
was that adjustment period like, and how did you manage that?
Man, it really it really started in practice, right? I remember David Grimes told me, like, he was like, man, listen, when you gonna get up, when you can get your opportunity, like, the older guys gonna always try the freshmen. Okay. Like, you just gotta stand up for yourself, man. Yeah. Show them that you belong, and that's how you kind of earn your respect.
Right.
And it was like one of those things that you, like, in practice, you kind of build confidence in just practicing your daily habits, right? Just watching the older guys, see how they doing it, but it's never the same until you really get out there and get those live bullets, right? Practice happens a little faster, but the game, it's like it's super fast. You know what I mean? And I was fortunate enough to play in every game of my college career. It was a blessing. I mean, it took a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? But the game was definitely faster. I remember. Just the lineman was huge, right? I mean, these guys were 6'5", 6'8", 320 pounds.
And can move.
First rounders. I was going against Jake Long out of Michigan. He went number 1 overall. Like, I'm lined up in front of this guy. I can't see anything. I just see human. Like, I just see a body in front of me. Like, but again, man, like, it's one of those things. You just got to believe that you put in that, so, like we talked about earlier, I put in so much work for that moment. And those chances was coming early. And it was kind of like, okay, this is why you're doing it, right? Keep going. Like, you on to something. You know what I mean?
Keep going. Man, that's real. And pivoting a little bit now to, that's your freshman year, and you had a coaching change. Was that your sophomore year?
Junior year. I played 3 years with Charlie Weiss and 1 year with Brian Kelly.
Okay.
So my end of my junior year, going into my senior year, we had a new coach who came in.
Okay. And what is that like? You're there, you commit to a school.
Yeah.
With, I would imagine a coaching staff that was there.
Yeah.
Junior year comes around, and I'm assuming was everybody, did it entirely change, or what?
Everybody. And that's the thing about college, what a lot of kids don't understand. I try to tell my kids, don't fall in love with your coach. Okay. You really better fall in love with the school. Make sure that school got whatever, if there is a certain degree that you want, is there a certain style of play. Like, again, like, these are things that I didn't know as a kid, right? Didn't know what questions to ask. Didn't really know, okay, who's your strength coach? What's his philosophy? How many guys they put in the league? Like, who's my position coach? How many guys that he coached who went on to the action? Like, how is he developing guys to make it to the league? Does he has a resume for that? Now, these are the things, especially if you got a kid who's really like that and who has potential to go play, right? You know that at an early age. Like, it's so many different things that goes into that. Like, is this kid built? Like, you can't be a D tackle at 5'11".
It's gonna be tough.
And it's gonna be tough. Like, you know what I mean? Let's keep it a buck. Like, you're not like, and that's the thing. Like, you just got to be real with yourself and understand. Like, is football something that you love? You want to make it a career, or something that you kind of just want to do, right? Understood. Like, you just kind of just want to live out your dream, or you really want to make this a career out of it. Okay. But it was weird because I played. We had, I want to say, the coaches that recruited me they're not going to be your position coaches a lot of times. Right. So they're just recruiting you because they're really personable guys. They can get you to fall in love. And once you get into the school,
you better perform.
Bro, not even going to talk to you. He's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Like, that's kind of what it is. Even with Coach Weiss, you don't really have with your head coach, you have a relationship with him. I was on the leadership board and shit, and a captain and stuff. So it was like one of those things that, like, I spoke to him a lot, but again, I'm always going to go to my position coach. It was weird when the new coaches came in because really you got to prove yourself again. Because the new coach come in, and you're a senior, he's like, well, I want to play younger guys and get these younger guys reps. Right. So you really got to, I got to really demonstrate that I'm here and I'm a leader on the team. I'm a guy that you can depend on, you can lean on. Okay. And so that's what my senior year was, all right? Just trying to earn a new coach's trust. So, and I think that's where a lot of kids get caught up. They get comfortable, man, and I won't say they stop working, but they don't understand, like, the business. College football is a business. Right. It's truly a business. Like, you're pretty much it's an unpaid job, right? People say, oh man, you getting your school paid for. No, I earned that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I earned that. So it's like one of those things that college athletes I don't want to get off topic, but
that might be a different conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. College athletes should get paid. I heard it from me.
No, that's real, and I appreciate you talking a little bit more about that experience, playing for two different coaches and being a part of tradition and a program like Notre Dame. Is there pressure that goes along with that?
I would say
maybe pressure is not the right word, but like,
no. I would say I think pressure is a great word for it, but like I think every athlete, if you're serious about it and you really want to make something out, you put pressure on yourself,
right?
Just because you want to be the best, you know what I mean. Regardless of how you look at it, you're not out there to. I mean, if you wasn't trying to be the best, they wouldn't keep score, right? We would be scrimmages. So
everybody would get trophies.
You're trying to be your best, so. You put pressure on yourself, and you got to be your biggest critic, especially at universities like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said earlier, at Notre Dame, you win by 30, you lose by 30, you on ESPN.
Okay.
It just come with it, man. Every top program is like that. The pressure from the fans, right? Everybody want to see you do well. Like your family may call you like, hey, what happened in the game? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on, don't call me, Dad. Like we lost. Like, come on. Like, talk about that. You know what I mean? So it's pressure isn't a bad thing, though. I try to tell my kids all the time, pressure isn't bad.
Right.
It's just how you view it, right? Like, and how you handle it, and again, as long as you can control it and you not like, and you can focus, and a lot of kids just put themselves in a funk and they can't get out of it.
Okay.
So you just got to stay positive, man. Take the good with the bad. I think that's the biggest thing. You got to have short-term memory to play sports, right? You're gonna have your great plays, you're gonna have your bad plays, right? And you're going against the best players too. Right. Man. It's not like you going against guys just like Joe Blows off the street. No, you going against they D1 too. They on scholarship too.
Right.
So it's good on good. So
okay. No, Kerry, thank you for being here today, and we're going to pivot the conversation a little bit. You talked to us a little bit about your experience at Notre Dame, being in that tradition, playing for several different coaches. Now I want to talk a little bit about your professional career.
Yep.
And I know you faced several injuries pursuing that, and just understanding the mental fortitude it takes to come back from injuries and feeling like you get so close to a goal. And just talk to me a little bit about what got you through that, facing these injuries. You're really passionate about the game. You know you can compete at this level. But what really got you through that challenging time?
So the injury started early too, man. I was like, I don't know what it was, man. I cracked my L4 in high school, my back in high school, and that kind of lingered through like really my whole career. I still have issues with that. Now I dropped weight and I understand the body, how it works and stuff. I know stuff that keeps, like, I know now I always got to do a ton of core, and I got to constantly work out and do mobility stuff. Right. Not I get stiff. But like when I got hurt 10 days before my pro day. 10 days before my pro day, I pulled my calf.
Okay.
So I'm devastated, right? I'm thinking like, okay, I'm about to go kill I'm about to go kill my pro day.
Right.
You know what I mean? I may go get drafted late rounds. If not, I'm gonna go get picked up in free agency. I'm not worried about it, right? I have teammates that like, no knock on my teammate. I had teammates that I know for a fact I'm better than that guy. Like, he playing in the league. Boom. I know I'm playing the league. I'm going. Then, okay, I get hurt, and I'm like, okay, 10 days for my pro day. Like, I'm in a funk. Like, I literally, my calf is like, is swole up. Like, it's one of those things you can touch. It was almost like I remember being at my advisor's house, and I'm showing him and his wife my calf. Uh-huh. I touched my calf. It's so full of fluid. Like, you can touch it. It's like a tomato. When you touch a tomato, it leaves like the big indent in it. That's what my calf's doing. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing every treatment known to mankind just to get healthy. So we finally, like, I got massage therapists. I'm doing laser 3 times a day. Okay. I'm doing everything, elevating, ice and rest, everything, every doctor. I'm seeing every doctor I possibly can. They was like, man, it's just going to take Zeke's rest.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay. But I trained three months prior to this thing. So our pro day was April 7th. Remember, like yesterday. We're shut down. This is our last hard workout before we have to go run. Before I have to go run. Yeah. We was doing some bandit resistant run, And like so first when I went down and the trainer was like, hey, make sure you get your knees up. I'm like, okay, cool. Next rep, I take about 3 steps, and I just feel like the band popped me in my leg. My bro, like Rob Hughes, who played 7 years in the league, 6-7 years in the league, played at Notre Dame with me. And I turn around like, man, like, bro, why you playing? I'm thinking he let the band go pop me in the leg, like thinking it's funny, right? That's bro, like I'm thinking he's playing. I'm looking at bro, he got it in his hand. Like, what's going on? What was that? What hit me? Then I took a step, and I just felt like this heat and pain, like in my left calf. Goodness. I'm like, man, what the hell is this? Like, you know what I mean? Right. I instantly, everybody, like, man, I think you pulled your calf. I'm like, no, I ain't pulled no calf. Like, how's that even possible? So I get in the cold tub and stuff, so icing it down. But then just fast forward to the pro day, like I'm like, okay, like I trained 3 months, like I have to go perform. Like this is the biggest job interview of my life. Let me just go pop some pain pills, right? Put some cream on it. I'm gonna be good. Then like I'm feeling good that morning. Then it's adrenaline too, right? Again, like this is as a kid, like this is everything you want is right here. It's 32 scouts. It's 32 teams. It's 32 teams for the scouts at Notre Dame. Every year we're gonna get. I mean, it's going to be every team going to be coaches and GMs. It's Notre Dame, right? Coaches and GMs. They're like, I gotta go perform. So I only need one team to like me. So I go out there and have the worst day of my life. So in my head, I'm like crying, like, man, like my calf's giving out, but I'm like, bro, I can't not finish, right? I'm limping through the 40. This guy was like, dude, like, you hurt. I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm good.
Solid.
Like,
I'm okay.
Just not even listening to, like, I'm really doing more harm than good. But my agent was like, man, you got to run. My trainer was like, man, you shouldn't run.
Right.
Like, who do you listen to at that time? So hindsight, man, like, then we had the NFL lockout in 2010.
Okay.
NFL lockout 2010. So after the draft, I went undrafted. After the draft, it goes blank. No teams can talk to free agency. Free agency is dead. Like NFL, we're not having an NFL season.
Okay.
So we just go back to training. I finally get healthy. Then the lockout's lifted. A day later, I signed to Indianapolis Colts. I go on, first game, I had 8 solo tackles. I'm like, oh, man, like, the league is a lot easier than college. Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I'm killing. So definitely wasn't a talent issue. I went to camp. I was on the 4th string in the depth chart.
Okay.
Right? Within a week and a half, I'm splitting reps with the ones. I'm starting on the teams. And one of those things, like, it was just, again, it was a lockout year. It was kind of a strange year. Then we had, 3-4 games after that. I played very productive throughout the preseason. End up getting released. I'm like, man, I'm going to get signed. Yeah. Didn't get signed right away. You see a lot of guys getting signed, veteran guys. But, like, I think during preseason, I probably had, in a 4-game span, I probably damn near had 20 tackles in 4 games. Wow. And I'm not even playing the whole game. Okay. So production level, I'm killing. Right. I'm doing everything right. Then I go play in the UFL. Very first game of the season, I break my foot. It was just like, man, like, it was just so many different signs. Like, man, like, is this really what God want me to do? And I started questioning everything. Okay. But in the midst of the lockout, I started working at, I was at the old gym, like at EFT. I don't even mention any other gym but Win. Like, I was working there, like, all due respect. Like, they put me on a stage to really show people my talents. And I was just helping kids from a football perspective. Right? I don't want to jump the gun and stuff on the story, but it just kind of trying to paint the picture. Right. Then, like, I just jumped back into the training industry, like, when I was off. Once I was hurt, I was just going to help kids and training kids. And when I was playing, you know what I mean? It was trying to balance both. But, like, from the league was everything that I imagined, right? The speed of the game, I was so mentally prepared for, and that's all I wanted to do as a kid was go play at the next level. So, like,
this is your opportunity.
Yeah, this is my opportunity. So I took every full advantage of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, it was great when it was lasted, but I just feel like God had this training. He wanted me to be a trainer and show guys the way, right? So,
man, that's real. And we're going to talk a little bit about win performance
for sure.
In a second. But I've always I've been curious to ask athletes this question is you go throughout your career, you start playing sports at a very young age, and then it stops.
Yep.
I remember for me, I was getting ready for a pro workout, and I was about to go take some BP. I had the balls in the car, and I didn't get out the car.
Right.
I just looked at the field, and I was like, I think this is it.
Right.
Do you have a similar story or something like that?
Nah, man, it's scary in a sense, just because like I have open conversations with my athletes, like just the pressure I put on myself. I was having this conversation with my best friends back home, like just being home once I got released from Indy, right? Everybody thinks you're a millionaire as soon as you sign a contract, right? People calling like, hey, let me borrow money. People calling my mom, asking, like people that you never even talked to, like like you really got like some balls to ask.
Some nerve.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. I remember just being home and I was watching Cowboys versus the Detroit Lions. It was the night Calvin Johnson had like 300-something yards.
Okay.
And I literally
Megatron.
I literally left. I was watching the game crying. I went to my high school and ran, like a lot to not. And I ran. It's at night too now, right? I ran for 2 hours nonstop. Just emotions, like I'm talking to myself, talking to God, like just trying to figure out, like, why is these little things happening to me? Like, you know what I mean? That's supposed to be me out there. Then it takes you a while to really, like, because as a young guy, like, you use football, like, just sports in general, like it's like it's part of your identity, right? You kind of that's been you your whole life. You got to think about everything you've done as. So I'm 21, 23 years old now. Like everything I worked from middle school to this point,
right?
Is no longer there. That's the one thing that I love no longer is loving me. Right, so it's tough. Then all the questions that you get, then you got to answer all those questions, and you feel like you let people down. You feel like you let yourself down. You feel like you let your family down. So all those things mixed with emotion, like it can really like. And a lot of guys don't bounce back from that.
It's tough.
It's tough, really, man. Like a lot of people need therapy when it comes to that stuff. You don't really find that second way, or again, like we spoke about earlier, if you don't have that school piece, something else to fall back on, or that new passion or something, you'll get lost, man. You'll really get lost, man. I know some guys now that still struggling to this day.
No, that's
real. Been out of the league for about 10 years and still trying to find a way.
Wow.
So
no, that's real. That's real. I think it's important to talk a little bit about that, the mental health side of that, and a different conversation for a different date. But pivoting in this particular conversation, we talked a little bit about win performance. Mm-hmm. You serve as CEO, coach. Where did it all start? What's the origin story from it?
So I've been in the performance industry for the last 10 years. Okay. Again, I worked at another gym for 9, and I kind of did everything from I treated it like it was mine, right? And that's my biggest thing. Like we had a golden rule at Notre Dame: make it better than like. Leave it as it is or make it better. Okay. Right? Okay. You know what I mean? Don't do anything worse. Don't pull it down. Right?
We can't go back. We got to move forward.
And that was my mentality. It was like, now that was my new identity. That was my NFL now. Yeah. Right? Now I wanted to be the best at that. Like if I can't go play in the league, my athlete's gonna be the next up. I know I'm gonna give them everything I got and everything I know. So I'm gonna try to install that into everybody you know what I mean?
Right, I'm following you.
And this is like my passion. Like I go home, I tell everybody like I don't feel like no one can outwork me in this industry now. Like, I'm willing to stay up late. I'm willing to miss the family time just to be the best at my craft right now because I understand the window.
Mama mentality.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So like I have a window and it's my time. So like I'm 1,000 miles per hour. Like my guy's like, bro, slow down. Like, take a vacation. I'm like, nah, bro. Like,
it's time to go.
It's time to go because, like, tomorrow's never promised, right? Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's real.
Like it's hot right now. Like, this industry is hot. Like, I tell my pros, like, as long as you guys got a job, I got a job. Right. So my job is to make y'all the best, and we're going to keep this thing going, right? Yeah. I got clients that I've been training for 7, 8 years now. Wow. 9 years now. Like, you know what I mean? Still in the league. Guys on going into year 10. Uh-huh. Right? You know what I mean? So it's kind of amazing just to see like just the growth and you know what I mean? But win comes from like, I mean, it's everything. Like, it's one of those things that I love, and I love to be able to help so many different people, and that's the beauty of behind my gym, man. My team is great. Pete Houlihan, he's a co-partner of mine. Grant, he serves as like my GM, and Kyle Wagley, like we call him K Wags, like he's like a trainer with us. But I mean, and those guys worked under me, right? So you got to understand my team, right? Like my team are guys that like studied under me, guys that are like, hey guys, listen, this is how I view everything. This is how I kind of do it. And they understand my program. They understand how I like it. Understand like just the success I had doing it this certain way. Okay. Now they do it and they put their own twist on it.
I got you.
Right. Grant is a guy who went through my program. He did his combine training with me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Wow, and he's like one of the smartest guys in the world. So like. So my team is really me, like in a sense. Everybody have a piece of me inside of them, like you know what I mean. Just being mentors to them and being a big brother to them, and like you know what I mean. And me still learning, right? Like I still go to seminars, I still read, I still watching old DVDs from back in the early '90s, early 2000s. Still just trying to be the best, man. So that's what win is really like a. I mean, we have a saying. We say, "Win big, win together." Mm-hmm. Like you know what I mean. And it is what's the saying? Like it's no I in team, but it is. I don't never believe in that. Like it's like we all have a job, right? I have a job to be the best that I can be. You have a job to be the best that you can be. Then when we win, you don't want to just win. You want to win big. Right. Then you want to win with your team. You want to put your team on, and you want to. Now everybody's happy. Okay. Right. And that's kind of the big thing about win. It's really a community of people who really just want to win. I don't care if you're trying to have the fastest 40 in the world, you're trying to lose 40 pounds. Like our job is to help you win at those goals. So, and that's the beauty behind it. And we have so many different people from so many different walks of life. We got kids who from the gutter. We got kids and CEOs and the number one, like, you know what I mean? We have like, it's so crazy and everybody's in there and so many people like making connections they probably wouldn't never made or speaking to a person they probably would never had a chance to speak to under my roof other than something that I actually built, man. That's powerful. It's like, I can sit back like, man, bro, I created something that's like really powerful. Legendary. I can pass this down and my daughter can look at it. Man, my dad is the owner of Win. Right, my dad kind of built that just from literally like just hard work and just treating people how I want to get treated. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? That's my biggest mentality. Yeah. Like, hey, like I'm gonna treat you. If I'm a coach, like if I'm a player, how do I want to get coached? And that's my mentality going into every session. I got you. You know what I mean? So
no, that's great, and I encourage everybody in the Chicagoland area to check it out. We'll make sure to put the address for Win Performance in the show notes following this call. But you talked a little bit about leadership in your team and in your experience, whether it's as a player, a coach, or even as a professional now. Who are some of the best leaders you've been around, and what have you learned from them?
I say my mom. I got to give my mom the biggest credit.
Shout out moms.
Yeah, Mom, love you to death. She showed me hard work. Never complain. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever adversity, whatever happens in front of you, man, like figure it out, man. Like my grandma used to always say, where there's a will, there's a way. Mm. So it's one of those, now I have that tatted on my arm. It's one of those things that's like if you really want something, you're going to go out there and you're going to prepare yourself and go get it. Mm-hmm. Like, don't expect somebody to come save you. Don't expect, like, you know what I mean? It's so much more in us, man. And just being a leader, I try to lead by example. Right. I want to be the first one there. Okay. I want to show my style. Like, hey, I'm the hardest working one here. Yeah. And I set the tone there. Like, I'm going to do whatever. Like, if I got to clean the gym, I got to clean the gym.
That's what you got to do.
Right. That's part of being a CEO. Like, you know, everybody else go home. I can't just go home. Like, I have to do the little things, right? I have to constantly get better. Now, like, my job is to motivate my guys. Okay. Right? I really work for my guys in hindsight, right? If they're not happy in their workplace, it's like, okay, I got to make these guys happy. I got to encourage these guys to work hard, and I give them something, incentivize these guys to go hard. I got you. Right? Now, everybody's happy now. And that's the beauty behind it, man. Just as a leader, I feel like a leader has to lead. Like, you can't just say, and you can't say, you have to show. You got to back it up. You have to back it up. I can't sit here and say, oh, I used to do this. No, I got to continue. I got to continue to do all those things. So, like, and I take the bull by the horns. I want, you know what I mean? Like, being a leader and being out in front is something that I never really, like, I never ran from it. You know what I mean? I kind of like whatever comes in front of us, like I want people to see me first. And I don't want the credit. I'd rather work in the background. Okay. Right? I don't want the credit. Like that's the thing about me. Like I want my every trainer in there to be the best trainer he possibly can be, he or she possibly can be. Right. You know what I mean? Now, like, man, I helped that kid. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it's like, if you go kill your job, like, I'm your biggest fan. Like, I want to see you go kill it. Like, you know what I mean? For sure. I hope you go open your own gym or start your own brand, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what leaders do. That's what winners do. Winners like empower people, not hold them down, and just, you know what I mean? You can't be selfish as a leader. Like, you really have to like encourage and inspire, man. That's the biggest thing, man. So,
period. I don't have anything to add to that. We are, as you look back on your career, what is one experience or one event in your professional life that pushed you to think differently? And before you answer that, I want you to answer two parts, pre-COVID. Yeah. Answer the pre-COVID question part first. What is one experience or event in your professional life that pushed you to think differently? And then let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced, really at the start of 2020.
I would say pre-COVID stuff, man, something I look at different. I was just importance of family, you know what I mean? Just being around loved ones, right? Just celebrating all the good times, celebrating all the small wins, man. Right. Just having fun throughout the process. You know what I mean? You really have to enjoy it because life is happening fast, man. Like any given time, you can be here today, going tomorrow, man. So you really got to enjoy it. Just calling family, man. Make sure everybody's good. Just tell everybody that you love them, man. But I'm a big about just family. I'm a big about like when is a family, like it's really like a family atmosphere. Right. From so many different people. Like just as I sit back and just watch it, right? Just like you have so many kids, or my biggest thing, the thing I love is like when my pros talk to my young guys, right? Or my CEOs talk to my pros. Okay. Or my college guys talk to my high school kids. You see how it's like a trickle down effect. Like it's really like, and you don't see it, you don't really see it, and you don't really like, you don't appreciate it. Well, now I do, right? Like this morning, just been in there in the gym and seeing like some of my adult performance classes, some of my adult members talking to my NFL guys, right? I'm like, bro, y'all should talk to these people, right? They're here for a reason. You trying to get there. Yeah, you're trying to get there. Yes, you in the NFL, but it's the life after football, and he got a business going, he got a career going. Well, I don't know if he's going to be a great fit, but you can pick his brain. He can pick your brain. You can pick his brain. We all can learn from each other. Everybody got so many different life experiences. We all can learn from each other, right? Mm-hmm. I would say that's one of the biggest things beforehand, like before COVID. Yeah.
And like, how did you, after COVID, it put a pause on sports as we know it. Yeah. And I'm sure you, as a business, you had to make decisions without complete information. Yeah. And so how did you navigate that?
I think COVID taught me that like I'm really a grinder though. Like I really went out and got it though. Not to boast and brag. Like I was nervous about COVID. Sure. But as being a producer, like I was really like, okay, like I'm not gonna like literally open up when 3 months. So we opened for 3 months. 3 months in, we were shut down due to COVID. Wow. So scary times, right? Like think about it. Like what you gonna do? Are you gonna just sit back and just like, oh man, I lost my business due to COVID? We gotta close. Or are you gonna figure it out? And that's one thing COVID taught me. Like I really figured it out. Like I'm so completely confident going into 2021 that I'm about to kill it, and it's going to be on a whole nother level a year from now. I mean, I had 28 NFL guys during COVID.
I'm following you.
Right. I gained new clients during COVID. Just being able to just network and figure it out. We was going to fields. We was doing workouts in garages, doing workouts in basements, like literally whatever I had to do. Like we training in the snow, we training in the rain, whatever I had to do to keep wind afloat and feed my family, man, I had to do it. Like, you know what I mean? well, it was scary times. Was it hard? I'm like, then hindsight, no. It was just like a normal day at work. You know what I mean? So just literally, it just built confidence into me going into this next year, man. So like I'm super excited about this year, man. Like I can't wait. Like I'm about to take this little vacation with the family. I'm about to come back and kill the summer, man. So
man, that's great to hear. I'm excited to see the continued growth and success, and wish you nothing but the best moving forward.
I appreciate that, man.
Kerry, in this part of the conversation, I'd like to call this the lightning round, where we ask you questions with the intent to get short answers, right?
For sure.
So we talked a little bit about some of these questions in the pre-chat, but I'm going to skip one, and I'm going to ask you, who is the toughest athlete you had to defend or compete against?
Toughest athlete I had to defend?
Like, they gave you nightmares.
That's tough, man. Oh, man, I played against some guys. We played against toughest guy. Jesus. I mean, we played against USC, that 2007 USC team. They were stacked. They probably had about 10, 12 first rounders on that team. So I would say that team, 2007. Yeah. 2007, 2008, they had Clay Matthews, Brian Cush, and Ray Magaluz.
All on the same team?
All on the same team. That was a cheat code, man. Cheat code. We couldn't move the ball for nothing, man. Yeah, I would say I'll give them that credit. Okay. Yeah, I can't say one person that just... You're right.
That's funny. Okay. What is your most memorable sports moment, either as a player, as a coach? Give me like the venue, the date, the outcome of the game. I need all of that.
Let me see. I'll say my best game was against Washington. I won't say it was like the most memorable moment, but my best game as a player in college was what was that? My junior year against Washington, University of Washington. I had a big sack in OT, about seven or eight tackles in the game. Big sack in OT. My rookie year had 8 solo tackles in my first game in the league. That was kind of a surreal moment, just been on the field. I just remember opening kickoff, like, damn, I'm in the NFL. Yeah. Right, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like that was something that you dream about as a shorty, as a kid. Like now it's like, man, it's here, right? So I'll say those 2 moments right there.
Okay. If the defense needs to stop with 1 second left on the 1 yard line and you got a huddle, what are you saying in the huddle?
Man, where do I stand? I'm the leader of the team, so I'm telling the guys, man, you can depend on me. So it's one of those things. We always have the saying, like your band of brothers, like, hey, guys, everybody lock in. Like, you know what I mean? I always tell my guys now, lock in. Right, lock in. That's it. That's what I'm telling the guys, lock in. Let's make a play.
I got you. So, okay. Kerry, like I said, I really appreciate you making the time to do this episode. Where can the people find you on social media, and where can they find more information about Win Performance?
You can go to winperformance.io is our website, and my personal page is on Instagram is K_Neal56 on Instagram.
No doubt. And we'll make sure to include all this information in the show notes. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Inside the Lab, where we interview advisors, investors, sports tech founders, and sports business leaders to impact their journeys and paths to success. Our purpose is to pull out the life lessons, habits, and thought patterns of these people and share those with others who use them in their lives and incorporate them into their professional journey. Special thank you to Eric at PeerSpace for providing the space today. Special shout out to Jordan Thelwell and team with the visuals tonight. Stay sharp.
Appreciate you, big dog.